Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand. I can't explain the way these crown loads they come to me. Morning meditation, Psalm 91 and 23. Water in my money tree, manifest abundantly. On a mission, running free, everything they wanna be. In summary, there's been a shift within the earth sphere. So now people hear my messages and words clear. Still shining, the illest with the brilliant timing. The gold mine who had to go find the silver lining. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, cause we all got some lessons that we working through. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, it's just the lessons that we working through. So why you tripping, huh? Why you mad, son? Got some good days and some bad ones. You might win some, might lose some. That's just the way it goes, life 101. Why you tripping, huh? Why you mad, son? Had some good days and some bad ones. That's just the way it goes, life 101. Yeah, life gon' be life until your day's done. Never will you see a thief return a treasure stolen. No need to lock away your heart if it was never open. Truth heals the spirit and it's better spoken. Most never heal, they remain forever broken. I protect over my cells like a prison guard. True and living star, pay the price to get these wisdom bars. Listen hard, I was cut out of a different cloth. Turn your light up on these hoes and never switch it off. The queen's a winner, moving like a seasoned ninja. I'm even tempered, never beefing like a vegan dinner. I found peace within my inner, that's a sweet surrender. Don't relive your lessons twice like repeat offenders. They'd rather see me decompose like leaves in the winter. Want me to undermine my shine and decrease my shimmer. While they compete in their subliminal battles, I'm only fighting hidden parts of my invisible shadow. Cause I learned that people never want the bitter truth, just the sweetness. But you need both the light and dark to reach completeness. Goddamn, people throw rocks and hide their hands. Vindicate the wolves and they silence in the lambs. Fight to keep your soul purer than a sacred virgin. Even if you die and it rebirth into your latest version. Your fate is determined by how you shake the weight of burdens. You gotta save yourself, become your own favorite person. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, cause we all got some lessons that we working through. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, it's just the lessons that we working through. So why you tripping, huh? Why you mad, son? Got some good days and some bad ones. You might win some, might lose some. That's just the way it goes, life 101. Why you tripping, huh? Why you mad, son? Had some good days and some bad ones. That's just the way it goes, life 101. Yeah, life gon' be life until your day's done.
One life, 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 one life,
I am honored to have been invited to speak to you this evening by the Guardian Association of the Police Department for the City of New York, and to the officers and all of the members of that organization. I'm quite happy to be with you. And I was thinking about it, and I don't know of such an advanced police department that has such a group, to my knowledge. So I think we should give them. I'm going to talk about our situation as Black people, and I'm going to talk about racism and Black mental health. Before I go further, I want to share with you that a week ago tonight, I was at the University of Toledo in Ohio debating Dr. Charles Murray on the topic Black genetic inferiority. Well, the real topic of the debate was genetics, intelligence, and race, or some combination of those words. I don't know what he's telling people, but I beat him. I beat him by putting his discussion of Black genetic inferiority in the framework of understanding racism, white supremacy as a global, national, local system of power domination. But before I go further, I want us to have a moment of silence in recognition of the passing of Dr. Amos Wilson, the famous Black psychologist that I understand passed recently. He was such a major and important figure for us in all of his writings on Black child development. And I was just talking about him when I gave a talk last night. And I came here today and found out that he had passed on. So can we just begin with a moment of silence and recognition for the major contribution that this Black man made in the field of psychology. Fine. Racism. We are 5 years away from the 21st century. All of us as Black people must participate in turning the future into what we all believe and know that it should be. A planet and a universe where there is justice. Justice does not exist on planet Earth today. This planet, whether we like it or not, is dominated by the greatest system of injustice, the greatest system of violence that has ever existed on this planet. I believe that we as Black people, the first people assigned to planet Earth, the mothers and fathers of everybody who has existed on this planet, that it is our cosmic assignment in the presence of injustice to see that justice prevails. It is not the responsibility of some singular individuals that somebody might say that's a leader or those several people are leaders. We all must see ourselves individually when we look in the mirror as being leaders in this great counter war against injustice. Not leaders who are doing their own thing, but leaders who want to participate in seeing that the beings on this planet can be everything that the Creator intended for us to be. We may have been that in the past. I am convinced we were that in the past. But a great force has descended on the planet to turn what was greatness, to turn what was the glorification of human beings to turn that into the highest level of degradation of beings that the world has ever known. It is our cosmic responsibility not just to attend lectures, but actually to see that a revolutionary change takes place on the planet. And I don't mean revolution in the sense that we thought of it in the 1960s, you know, where everybody was kind of tough. But we're creating a different kind of revolution that is based upon every single person that classifies him or herself as black having an in-depth understanding of what this war that is being waged against us is really all about. I have said many times when I lecture that we greet each other by saying, "Hey, what's happening?" And I say we greet each other that way because we haven't really understood what was going on. Because we have been the victims of a massive deception. We have been told, those of us who live in this area of the world, and really throughout the world, we have been told that we are living in a democracy. We have been told that we are in a system where there is equal opportunity for everyone. Tragically, we have been told a gigantic lie, and that lie has been told over and over and over and over again. We are living in a system of racism, white supremacy. It is not a system of equal opportunity. It is a system wherein, let me go to my blackboard. Can you all see this board, or I don't know if it can be seen. Sometimes I think the blackboard is my security blanket. But we have to, each and every one of us, we have to have it clearly in our heads that we are on a planet in which we have been told we are the minority. Let everyone in this audience put it in their brain computer once and for all. That's the first big lie. 1/10 of the people on this planet have skins that are white, only 1/10. 9/10 of the people on this planet, the overwhelming majority, are black, brown, red, and yellow. We must put this in our brain, and even if you find yourself saying, as a minority, check yourself and say, wait a minute, I made a mistake. Because this big deception, training the vast and overwhelming majority of people to consider themselves a minority, is psychological warfare. It's to make the majority feel minuscule in terms of numbers. So repeat after me. The black, brown, red, and yellow people on this planet are the overwhelming majority people on planet Earth. Fine, class. Okay. The second gigantic lie is that something is wrong with the genetics of black people. 21 years ago, I debated Dr. William Shockley, the Nobel Prize laureate. He was then a professor at Stanford University, And those of you who are old enough like me, remember he was going around talking about black genetic inferiority and that black people should have themselves sterilized so that they will not keep on polluting the planet with our degraded genetic material. 21 years later, we have Dr. Charles Murray and the late Richard Herrenstein singing the same song. In fact, there has never been a period, certainly for the people in this area of the world, the black people, there has never been a point at which people who classify themselves as white did not think that they were genetically superior to people whose skins were black. My grandfather, Dr. Henry Clay Cress, who died in 1909. A short time ago, I had an opportunity to see some papers that were in an old trunk. And my grandfather had written, I never knew him in person. I only knew, my grandmother used to say, your grandfather was a race man. That meant that he considered his identification with other black people to be a priority. But my grandfather had written, how dare anyone think they are superior based on their skin being white. Do you see, but this hype about black people being genetically inferior is a denial of reality and a projection. As a psychiatrist, this is what I mean, and I said this last week in the debate, that anybody who goes around saying, I'm superior, hey, did you hear? I'm superior. That person is not really feeling superior. I said superiority always speaks for itself. You never have to wave a banner. But in my attempt to understand what racism is all about, because I wanted to be a good psychiatric physician to black people primarily, because they didn't have all of the psychiatric physicians that they needed. And when I took histories on black patients and found that their problems, whether it was drugs or alcohol or depression or psychosis, was stemming from confrontation with this horrible destructive force in the environment that we call racism, I said, I got to understand what that really is all about. And so looking at this fact that, wait a minute, these people who put this big lie out that they're the majority are really the minority. And the second big lie that something was wrong with our genetics, but in reality, white skin. This is not Francis Welsing's genetics that I cooked up in my apartment. Skin whiteness is defined by white people themselves, but when they were talking about a white mouse or a white bunny rabbit, not themselves, that this is a genetic deficiency state. It is albinism. It is genetic recessive as opposed to being genetically dominant. So I put those two things together and said, I've got it. This is what racism is really all about. This tiny minority of people whose own scientists have said that white is a genetic deficiency state, and it is recessive, figured out after they ended up circumnavigating the globe. People of color had circumnavigated the globe long before that. But people whose skins were white did not circumnavigate the globe until starting in the 15th century. And when they found out that everybody on the planet was colored, every place they stopped, every place those boats crash landed, it was some more colored people. And the colored people were receptive, kind, and fed these strangers. And they even allowed themselves to have sexual intercourse with the strangers. And the strangers found out, if they waited 9 months, that all of the children ended up looking like the colored mothers. And so they decided, we have a color problem. They didn't have to have a big genetics conference. They didn't even have the formal science of genetics at that point. But they found out that black plus white equals colored. Brown plus white equals colored. So-called red plus white equals color. Yellow plus white equals color. And it didn't take high-level intelligence, really, to conclude, what if these men of color got in boats and started going in the other direction? And they landed. And the ladies said their ideal mate was tall, dark, and handsome. They realized that white could disappear. Are you with me? Now, we have been miscegenated out of our minds and brainwashed out of our minds so that we have been sent on a course to try to make black disappear. Is that right? I talked to somebody recently from the continent of Africa, and they said, Dr. Welsing, everybody that I met said, when you go back, will you send me some bleaching cream? That's right. That's right. Why am I so black? But this is simply brainwashing. You see, but the people whose skins were white, and when I was busy decoding racism 25 years ago, one of the things that occurred to me, in addition to the fact of white minority status and white genetic recessive status, was that while we were busy being told, the blacker you are, the uglier you are. And if you're black, stay back. And if you're brown, what? Stick around. And if you're yellow, you're mellow. And if you're white, you're all right. See, the black people in London know this, all over the whole world where they're colored people, where there has been a confrontation with whites, or whites have confronted the colored people in that area of the world. They have taught the people, the more color you have, the uglier you are, and get in the back of the line. Because that was the most powerful genetic status. And therefore, the more color you could create with your genetics, the greater the threat you were to white genetic survival. And this is why if you go to the prisons today, will you see black people at the lighter end of the spectrum or at the darker end of the spectrum? Class, what do you see? At the darker end of the spectrum. Now, under white supremacy, we will just learn, well, that's because they're black and bad. No. It's because that quantity of the production of melanin at the genetic level is perceived by the white collective as being the greatest threat. That's why it was easier to let Cubans come in than Haitians. But while we were being taught all this negative about color, and this is one thing that I looked at, gosh, they talk negatively about color, but in the summer and in the winter. Tanning is gotta be tan. Gotta go to the suntan parlor, even when it's snow on the ground. A white student told me, I believe it was at George Washington or Georgetown University some time ago, and I was talking to these white students about racism, and the white student said, Dr. Welsing, did you know that we compete in the summer to see who can get the darkest? See, we didn't know that on our side of the track, right? It's like when I went to college, I went to Antioch College, and in those ancient days, 1951, integration was one black girl and one black boy per class. And here I was from the ghetto, from the south side of Chicago. I saw all these white people the first spring. I was coming back from lunch, and all these bodies with clothes off, not completely naked. But there they were with their clothes off, and I was still shivering. Maybe it was April. And I hadn't seen this before. And I actually stood there, what are they doing? I realized that they were tanning. Do you see, the first time the sun comes out and gets a little bit warm? Last week. Really, I came back to Washington from Cleveland, and I had on slacks and a coat and a scarf. It was 70 degrees. The white people were out in shorts running all over the district. Do you see what I'm saying? Out exposing. True. We did not understand what this color was, and as long as they could make us think that we were ugly with our color, they could walk around and, as my grandmother would say, be Miss Pretty Girl. Only if we thought that we were ugly. You see, and we've been giving them a lot of support because they've trained us properly, thinking that we're ugly. But we're coming out of that because we are moving into master level understanding of what racism is. And based on our understanding of what it is, we are going to produce the solutions to the problems that we have. So I understood tanning, and I also understood lynching and castration. How many people have wondered, what in the world is that behavior about? I asked that question when I was about 6 years old. My grandmother and my parents were standing in the dining room with the black newspaper, talking in hushed tones about a black man had been lynched. And I remember saying to my grandmother, Granny, why would they do that? And my grandmother said, some people just have to act ugly. But when I decoded racism is about white genetic survival on the planet, it just popped into my brain computer. Oh, now I understand lynching and castration. Lynching of a black man would occur, usually behind saying he looked at a white woman. Is that right? Or he thought he wanted to look. Or he was thinking about somebody else looking. This, if the problem is about genetics, maybe some people can't see the blackboard. I put a diagram. Of male genitalia. If white people are afraid, the global white collective is afraid of genetic annihilation, they are automatically talking about male genitalia. Because these are the testicles, and this is where the genetic material is. Now, I hear some ladies saying, well, why didn't she put the female genitalia on the board? Maybe she doesn't know how to draw it. The reason that I didn't put the female genitalia on, because everybody has to master this. This is a very important part of the understanding. Men and women are equal human beings, but we are not the same. The Creator decided that we should not be the same. Males can impose sexual intercourse. If you look around and see all these beautiful different colors, it was because white slave masters imposed themselves on African women. Males can impose themselves, white, black, brown, red, or yellow. God forbid that they should ever think of doing that, but nonetheless that is factual. Women cannot impose sexual intercourse, or can they? This is a lesson in physiology class. Try it. See, I didn't say cannot entice, influence. I said impose, meaning make. Make the gentleman have sexual intercourse. Even if he says he has to go home. No, you run to your purse and pull out your Uzi. And you say, I'm going to make you. What will happen, gentlemen? That's correct. See, that's basic physiology. If you frighten the gentleman, really frighten him. So racism is about oppressing all people of color. But it is more particularly about black people. And it is even more particularly about black gentlemen. Because the lady cannot force the white male into sexual genetic annihilation. But the fear in the mind of the global white collective is that the black gentleman can cause white genetic annihilation. So when that white male brain computer looks at the black male, his subconscious is dictating he has weapon, can annihilate me. must attack it, cut it off. Do you all understand? So nobody ever has to say, well, I don't understand that. And we more recently had the case of Jeffrey Dahmer's. He was cutting black men up. And he couldn't get enough just cutting them up. He had to eat them, including their genitalia. In addition to working in a chocolate factory. Are those the facts in the case? Those are the facts in the case. Are you all with me? See, we are coming up on what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, Valentine's Day in the white supremacy system and culture. See, that's what we must learn to say. We are coming upon Black History Month in the white supremacy system and culture, so therefore we understand why we only look at ourselves for 1 month. Do you follow what I'm saying? And we look at white 11 months. But we are coming upon the day that is about love, supposedly. What is the favorite gift? Chocolate candy with nuts, hopefully. And because we don't understand the symbolism as black ladies, we say, well, we want some chocolate too. Not realizing that we've got chocolate at home. See, indeed, if you understand what I'm saying, you will also understand why in the white supremacy system and culture, all of the favorite drinks are dark brown. Coffee, tea, Coke, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. And the white lady on TV says, I can't get started in the morning until she's talking to the white man, her husband. This thing. I can't get started in the morning until I have some Folgers in my cup. It's so dark and rich. Is that the ad? Do you all follow me? So let's go back. I thought I had an eraser. Oh, here it is. Because I'm giving this with a little humor, but all of this is serious. All of this is very, very serious because we're talking about what exactly is the nature of the war that is being waged against us that we haven't understood clearly to date. But we are moving on understanding. If we understand the importance of the male genitalia, black male genitalia, as being viewed as that which can cause white genetic annihilation, we will understand the importance of the gun. Police officers. If we look at the front view of male genitalia, it looks like this. The lateral view looks like this. Just think about the lateral view for people who are far away. If you turn that around 90 degrees, what do you have? A gun. A gun. Guns are the most important thing in the white supremacy system and culture. Because the white brain computer says he has weapon, can annihilate me, must create weapon, can do same thing. You see? In other words, the white genetic material is recessive. It cannot cause black genetic annihilation. But the white brain computer came up with gun, can make gun. And what do they call the gun? The great equalizer. See, these terms are not idle expressions. We treat them as idle expressions, but they come from the subconscious, because the problem, the fear of white genetic annihilation is not talked about overtly. In other words, you don't hear big discussions on TV, we are genetic recessive and we're afraid of white genetic annihilation. You don't hear that being discussed. You just hear everybody needs a gun. 200 million guns in the hands of people in this area of the world, and they're not just in the hands, or mostly in the hands, of people who are classified as black or otherwise non-white. So the great equalizer, and from that awareness comes the term justifiable homicide. Justifiable homicide, somebody might say, well, the definition of that is when you have to shoot somebody. The term comes from people who are in uniform in the white supremacy system and culture, who classify themselves as white, who see a black man and say, I thought he had a weapon. He does. That's where that statement comes from, at the subconscious level. I thought he had a weapon. And then they will say, I thought he had a knife. Or I thought he had a gun, but it comes from the deeper subconscious fear of genetic annihilation. There's no history, as far as I know, of black males in uniform killing white men and saying, I thought he had a weapon. Now, maybe that's because they see better. I don't think so. It's just that the same fear is not in the minds of black gentlemen. It is a fear that is resident in this particular power system and structure. This fear is also manifested in another major activity within the white supremacy system and culture, one of the most important activities, if you go by the numbers. What am I talking about? A major activity. I don't want to spoil anybody's fun, but ball games. Now, I didn't ask Dr. Charles Murray this, but I could have. Dr. Murray, since you say you're so smart, what are the two series of ball games in the white supremacy system and culture that have come out of the white brain computer? Because black people didn't create these ball games. We play them with expertise, but we didn't create them. Why did it come out of the white brain computer, these two series of ball games? What are the two series, class? If you read my book, don't answer. No. See, you're looking at it all the time. You're looking at it all the time, but because we were lied to when we were little children and told it was a democracy, and we read Dick and Jane and Spot and Puff and Baby Sally, we were not told what was really the shape and the dynamic of the culture. So we actually are looking at what I'm getting ready to tell you, but we don't see it. But once I decoded what white supremacy was all about, and one Sunday I was in my house and it was so quiet, and your brain functions best when it's real quiet. That's why they train us now. This is your soul. Say boom, de boom, de boom, de boom, de boom. See, that cuts the computer off. It actually does. It cuts the computer off. It just drowns it out with too much stimulation. They know that. But I said, it's so quiet. I wonder what's happening. Why is it so quiet? See, what's happening? And then I said, oh, the ball games. The ball games are on. And then it just clicked into my computer. These ball games have more significance than we realize. And then it just clicked into my brain computer. It's 2 series of ball games, Francis. Big brown and small white. And what balls are we talking about, really? These balls. Isn't that something? And what does the culture say? Keep your eye on the ball. See, we thought that meant as the baseball comes towards the bat, you keep watching it. No, it means these balls. You have to keep your eyes on these balls in order to prevent white genetic annihilation. Is that right, class? So every season has to focus on balls. Is that right? What are the ball games that are played by the men that are considered to be most virile, most manly? Big brown. Is that right? Football. And then basketball. And then we have bowling ball. And we'll put soccer over here too. And then over here we'll put ping pong. Right? Golf, tennis, baseball, right? Now see, I hear some people saying, this lady is really out of her cotton picking mind. But I think I do know what I'm talking about. Now let's see. Let's see where these ball games go, where these balls go. A white gentleman told me, Dr. Welsing, do you realize that white men say they are not men until they have had sexual intercourse with a black lady? Gentlemen, see what prizes you have? So what games are played by the most powerful men? What's the ball game that is played by the most powerful men? The presidents. Golf, a small white. But let's see where the small white ball goes. Long stick held between legs. See where it is? This microphone is really helping too, right? then puck, trying to make a hole in one. In the old days, a black man used to stand behind a white man. Is that right? Caddy. Say, boss, I think you want this one. Has anybody ever seen a white golf club? I don't think so. But where does the ball go? In a hole in black Mother Earth. Let's see where the other balls go. Where do the big brown balls go? The football goes where? Some white upright legs at the end of the field. I don't want to spoil your game. But this is war. We have to understand. We have to understand. I'm just showing you the subconscious symbolism that makes the point. I didn't make these games up. But once you pull back the curtain of decoding what the culture is really all about, this stuff just jumps up and you say, oh, I see, oh, wow, look at that. So the big brown football, because a white female has said her ideal mate is who? Tall, dark, and handsome. So therefore, where does the basketball go? It's a white net. Slam dunking it in. Don't faint, you all, come on. And who do we have dancing in short dresses on the side? Little white ladies. Is that right? A black girl can hardly get on the squad. Isn't that right? Do you all see how these little symbols fit together? If you're real mature, oh Jesus, I'll tell you about baseball. Are you all real mature? But before we do baseball, let's do billiards. Or we can do bowling. You see this big black ball goes down the track and knocks this out, knocks these 10 pins out. See, white supremacy is not something, oh, I ran into some discrimination on my job. No, you are surrounded 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, living and breathing and eating and drinking white supremacy nonstop. It's not a little bit of something, it's the whole show. Billiards. Big green table, a lot of colored balls on the table. Long stick again, stick and ball. Long stick takes white ball, knocks all the colored balls under the table. Is that right? Who's the last ball to be knocked in? Meaning most important ball of all, right? All us black people know what the black ball is, right? And the culture says what? You don't want to be caught where? Behind the 8 ball. Being caught behind the 8 ball, the white supremacy, I need to put this eraser over here. The white supremacy power equation is white over non-white. To be caught behind the 8 ball would mean what? Non-white over white equals white genetic, there goes a person, annihilation. Do you all follow? See, when something is being done at the subconscious level, it means you don't have to think about it. And so everything that is done is keeping people, the minority, in touch with what the critical issue on the planet is. They are all clued in. We are not clued in. So now we are getting clued in. Shall I do baseball? See, the elements, the brain computer, when it makes a symbol, it'll take things and contract them so the brain understands, but the elements of baseball, long stick, white ball, triangle. What is triangle? Female, genital. Are you with me, class? What do people eat at baseball games? They eat some peanuts and hot dog in bun. See, I'm not trying to shock you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or be gross. But I want you to appreciate the level of what we are dealing with. And so when mustard, what does the white supremacy culture refer to as buns? Are you with me? You see, and homosexuality is a practice when men start feeling insecure about masculinity. It was the dominant sexual practice in Greece and Rome. And I maintain because they looked across that Mediterranean at all those black men. And by comparison, they felt deficient. And so that meant penis into anus. The anus is the opposite end of the gastrointestinal tract. We feed ourselves by putting food in the gastrointestinal tract. How many people hear their brain computer, I think I need some greens? Raise your hand. See, this is the brain saying you need some vitamin A. In the same way, it will put penis in rectum if I feel masculine deficient. Somebody said, oh my goodness. Are you all following me? Do you know that within the framework of the discussion of the bell curve and all the people, so-called scientists, who are saying black people are deficient in terms of intelligence as far as genetics goes, do you realize that one of these esteemed scientists has said, we will have to conclude that the smaller the penis, the higher the intelligence. Do you all understand? Isn't that heavy? To me, that's profound. That they spend time, but I was at Howard University College of Medicine, and there was a white scientist in the Department of Anatomy, who I will not name on this occasion, and he was doing a study measuring the length of black men's penises. We're better placed than at a black university. Are you all with me? Well, I know Dr. Welsing doesn't really understand what she's talking about, but maybe let's look at smoking objects. What are the two series of smoking objects in the white supremacy system and culture? Here we go again, big brown and small white. Ooh. What, aside from cigarettes, what are cigarettes called in the white supremacy system and culture? You read my book. Cigarettes are called fags. Look in your dictionary. Meaning small white is equated with what? Female and effeminacy. What smoking objects do the most powerful men smoke? Cigars. And I encourage everybody in this room to go to your newsstand where they have the big expensive magazines and look for the magazine, big expensive magazine called Cigars, and it has all these long cigars and how they taste and, you know, their characteristics and how much they cost. The most expensive smoking objects, are they small white or are they big and brown? Big and brown. I didn't make the culture. I have tried to look at it and decode it so we understand what we are dealing with. The white supremacy system and culture wants us to be the clowns of the planet. If you don't believe it, just look at Martin. And this is why this discussion has great importance. Because the white supremacy system and culture says, if I can just turn him into a woman, I'll be home free with white genetic survival. Are they succeeding? Yes. Yes. Yes, indeed. This is no affront to anybody because we had not decoded what we were dealing with. When I was in undergrad, I used to think, well, it's all about economics. Neely Fuller Jr. came along and said white supremacy is a system. And the system operates in economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. This is everything we do. The system is carrying out in terms of perception, logic, thought, speech, action, symbols, and emotional response. Everything is geared to white genetic survival. It's a trick to say it's all about green power. No, you need money to purchase the things that you need and that you want. But it's all a part of the system of white supremacy, what you get, and whether you can keep what you get. So if we begin to understand, oh, it's about white genetic survival, and all you have to think about, well, what are the various routes? What are the various pathways? Like all roads lead to Rome. All the pathways lead to white supremacy as long as it's unopposed. Everything. Well, let's see how we can stop the black male from being able to affect white genetic annihilation. Let's see what we can do. How do we affect all black people, male and female, not understanding what it's all about? So somebody might say, well, Dr. Welsing, every time you turn on the TV now, you see black men sitting up next to their white wives. Isn't that right? Psych. You have to look at that, because I say, oh, somebody's saying it's racism and that it's about white genetic annihilation, so we'll show a whole lot of our white women with black men, and we'll show black men who have 15 white women apiece. That'll convince them it's not about white genetic annihilation. But the very moment they're showing that, thousands of black men are dying in the streets. Those few little things that they show you on TV, or pushing the effeminization of black men through the sitcoms and making black people laugh at it because they don't understand what's going on. And they laugh at it, and they have their children laugh at it because they don't understand the whole game is about white genetic survival. Preventing white genetic annihilation, every single thing that they do. A white professor, female at the American University in the District of Columbia, said to me one time, Dr. Welsing, white people talk negatively about black people at all social gatherings. Not some social gatherings, all social gatherings. She said the common assumption is that every white person present agrees. Before she told me this, I said, yes, I know. And that's why when white people say, well, Dr. Welsing, what can I do? I say, tell black people what white people talk about when there's no black people around. Now, I gave a talk last night, and a young black lady said, well, you hate white people. You must hate white people. The Bible says we should love our enemies. Psych. See, it's not about hate. I'm not talking tonight about hate. I'm talking about decoding the game that's on the white side of the chessboard. I'm talking about understanding why we have lost the last 1,000 tournaments. Because we were not told what the real game on the table was really all about. I say that the IQ that black people should be interested in is the WS in parentheses R IQ. That's the white supremacy racism IQ. How much do we understand about what white supremacy is and exactly how it works? Because it is deadly. We can call it the deadly science. The deadly science. So what else is white supremacy doing other than trying to make absolutely certain that there is mass level of feminization of black men, because if they are effeminized, then the system doesn't have to worry about white genetic annihilation. A child in my office this week, a little boy, 11 years old. Mother brought him in because he was refusing to do homework. So I said, "Sweetheart, what's going on?" He said, "I have a problem." And then what the child told me, he said, "I want an official father." I'm saying it now and my eye is about to water. I want an official father. Little boy sitting in the psychiatrist's office. I want an official father. He said, "I know exactly what he's supposed to look like, Dr. Welsing. He's supposed to be tall and he has a lot of muscles, and he would sit with me and help me do my homework." Do you all hear that? I was trained as a psychiatrist at St. Elizabeth's Hospital, Washington, D.C., and taught that black people did not have the intelligence to talk about their feelings. And the best treatment for them was medication. I knew it was a lie. Here's a little child. I want an official father. Years ago in the late 1960s, when I was teaching at Howard University, a parent brought another little boy in. He wasn't studying. So I said, "Sweetheart, don't you want to work hard in school so you can help black people?" 11 years old. What did he say? No. And so, of course, I was floored. You know, the child is supposed to say yes. No, he said. Mind you, this is the late 60s, maybe, 69, 70. He said, "If you try to help black people, you're going to be killed." I said, 175 IQ. Do you all understand? These little children are perceiving and understanding exactly what the lay of the land is. Just like the little children, if you go to school, you might be killed. In the white supremacy system. Now, why is all of this happening? I say because of what I've been talking about earlier. White supremacy says must dismantle the black king. And this is why I say that the chessboard, everybody ought to have a picture of the chessboard on their icebox. Because what we're dealing with is perfectly analogous to the game of chess. What is the game of chess about? I hear a lot of B answers. I'm looking for A. The game of chess in detail is about the white king checkmating the black king. Isn't that right? Why do I say it? White always moves first. So white is playing what? Offense, defense, and black has to play defense, offense. This is why this is the most important board game in what? The white supremacy system and culture. It's a game about tactics and strategy. Tactics and strategy and tactics and strategy and tactics and strategy. Now somebody say, well, that's an intellectual game. Football is intellectual. Basketball is intellectual. That's just tactics and strategy. It's just that they have convinced us that we're supposed to be genetically inferior in terms of intelligence. Black people created chess. The first chess champion in the United States was a black man. He could pass for white in New Orleans, and so they took him, of course, on their side. So they wouldn't have to say he's black. You see, but this is the game that is about white supremacy, preventing white genetic annihilation. And so they've got their whole game completely set up. The way you do it is attack the king off the field, off the board. Attack the black man. Subject him to unemployment. Does anybody know about that? If you subject the family to male unemployment, now there's a lot of people in this audience that say, I'm a single parent, female head of household, and my situation is functioning. I say it's a lot of ladies sat last night and said, I don't need no man. You see, rolling her eyes at me. It's good I knew she was a sister. My sister, my family. You understand? I don't know what you're talking about, Dr. Welsing. I don't need. That's what the system has taught us to say. See, because we haven't understood white supremacy. And so instead of us seeing that we're at a chessboard, we don't see this top. We're just what? Warring with each other. Down here on the black side of the board. Wondering why we're not winning the tournament. Because we've been lied to, oh, it's another side of the board and something is happening over here that is affecting everything that is happening on this side of the board. I had decided before I talked to this child in my office this week that I was going to give a paper in August at the National Medical Association entitled, "The Pain of Black Male Children." I didn't finish the story. The little boy said, if I had a father, Dr. Welsing, I could do my homework. Do you all understand? See, this is very critical, and what white supremacy has done, it keeps taking away from us, and then we say, well, we can make do, it's okay. We'll get our reward in heaven. I don't think God wants us to say that. Now, it may be nice up there, but it's supposed to be nice down here too. Not just make do. And if we understand what the game is, we can do better than just make do. But we've got to understand the exact nature of the war that is being waged against us. White supremacy says, I'm going to knock the black king out with unemployment, underemployment. Lady came to my office this week. See, this is just a week of psychiatric practice. I'm a lawyer, Dr. Welsing, in a big law firm. My husband and I just are not getting along. I think I'm going to be made partner. I just don't understand why we can't communicate. I said, who's bringing home the biggest check? Do you all understand what I'm saying? She said, it doesn't make any difference to me. I said, but it makes a difference to a man. Do you see what I'm saying? She didn't structure it. She says he keeps saying everything is my fault. I say, he's not bad. You're not bad. We just don't understand white supremacy. I used to tell patients 90% of what happens in your marriage is determined by white supremacy and not by the two of you. I didn't say 9%, I said 90%. White supremacy can make a relationship fall apart anytime it gets ready. White supremacy is making it very difficult for a relationship to even get started because now it takes a white man working and a white woman working to have a middle class income. So who is going to be out of a job? You see, but people will say, Dr. Welsing, why are you always talking about racism? Dr. Welsing, am I supposed to tell my child about racism? I don't want to discourage my child. Do you all understand? If we don't understand what is coming at us, they have a right to say, we don't have any intelligence. Because we're fumbling around. It's just like if you didn't know what football was about and you were on the football field. Somebody who knows the game would say, what's that idiot doing? They simply don't know the rules. They don't understand how the game is played. They are not, therefore, doing the correct thing in order to score. So white supremacy knocks large numbers of black men out. Let's stop talking about prisons and start talking about concentration camps. 3 strikes and you're out. Do you understand? Remove all of the men and the women are a pushover. But if you remove the men, if the men are comfortable with being removed, then you have a situation like we have in the District of Columbia where the teachers will say large numbers of black male children in the elementary school do not know how to go to the toilet as men. Isn't that heavy? Who's going to show them? Grandmother? Mother? Auntie? White supremacy knows exactly what it's doing. Can we win this tournament? See, now I feel the vibe is kind of down, like I don't think we can. We can, people. See, we can if we will to do so. We're the majority people on this planet. Now, anybody who doubts it, just go and look in the mirror and say, I'm going to get unpsyched from thinking that I'm genetically deficient in terms of intelligence. I used to ask people, how many people would like to have a Mercedes in this audience? Tell the truth and shame the devil. How many people think it's a nice car? Right, okay. Now, how many people think the person sitting next to them can make a Mercedes? Right. The truth is going to set us free. How How many people think the person next to them can make toilet paper? If we had that percentage of people who were genuinely believing that they can produce whatever they want, would we be talking about we don't have any jobs? See, you got to follow the logic and don't deceive yourself. We have been taught, programmed, somebody else has to give us a job. If they don't make a job, we don't have a job. But we are getting ourselves free from the deception imposed by other people and how we learn how to deceive ourselves. We've got to be able to face what is actually in our computers. We have been taught, I can't, you can't, he, she, or it can't, we can't, you can't, they can't. How many times have you heard, you can't do that, we can't do that, he can't do that, she can't do that? This is programming, hundreds of years on the plantation, being beaten, being whipped. And since the plantation, laws that say you can't do this and you can't do that. And then after the laws were changed, we want to still have them into a can't mode. And so we will throw some drugs out there at them. We're stressing them enough to need some medication. Now we'll put this out there and it'll be another chain, hoping that they won't break free and threaten white genetic survival. So we have to look at this. Well, what can we do? Because I say that is critical. Little children need a male and a female parent that are functioning together. A father who loves a little girl is one of the best brakes on boy craziness. You know what boy crazy is? Longing for father and father not being there. So the little girl has to convince herself that some boy likes her. Do you all understand? See, don't feel bad. We're at home looking at what has happened to us. We've got to look at it so we can change it and make it what we want it to be. Another parent this week going through a divorce, acrimonious relationship. We're sitting in the courthouse. The mother said, my daughter said to me, she's talking to me and her attorney, my daughter said, Mommy, I think I'm going to grow up and be a lesbian. This is 12. The mother said, what? She said, a lesbian. The mother said, well, why would you say that? She said, I'm looking at all the trouble that you and Daddy are going through. And I don't want those headaches when I grow up. I mean, this is out of the mouths of children. Do you all understand? We are being programmed to what? Hate one another. None of us would be here were it not for a contribution from father and contribution from mother. But the social dynamic can make us hate each other. Hate ourselves and hate each other until we have thoroughly gone into total genocide. Because genocide is just the opposite face of white supremacy. If I'm afraid that somebody else's genetics will overpower me, then my brain computer will simply work out logical solutions leading right up to genocide. So we have to reflect on this. Well, Dr. Welsing, what do you suggest that we do? I suggest that we understand we are at war. A war is being waged against us. We have to turn ourselves into very effective soldiers for justice. Not people who are going to waste their energy hating white people. It's not necessary. You don't sit down and play chess and I hate my opponent, I hate. Go on the football field, imagine a football player, I hate the opponent. No. You go in that squad room and study the opponent's plays. You let yourself reflect when they're good so you know what your opposition is. So hate is out. First, we're going to engage in the exercises of Black mental health and Black self-respect. I call it building a pyramid. The base of the pyramid has to be our mastering self-respect. How do we do that? Neely Fuller, in his textbook for victims of racism, laid out a number of things, and I added some things to it. Stop name-calling one another. See, somebody will say, oh, I don't mean nothing by that. No, don't call people out of their names. Call them the name that they wish to be called. White supremacy called us niggers. Read the slave narratives. Every other word, us niggers, the nigger this, the nigger that. That's what white supremacy imposed on us. Stop name-calling one another. Stop gossiping about one another. Gossiping. Oh, I'm about to gossip. Put the telephone down. See, this is very important because the way you exercise what you think about yourself is how you relate to your reflection. So the brain computer said, there's another Black one just like you, Francis. Then how I feel about myself will be reflected in how I relate to another Black person. So we are going to engage. See, we do exercises to keep our muscles in shape. Now we're doing exercises to get our brains in shape, in our self-image, in our self-concept, so we can be effective soldiers. Because if I think negatively about myself, do you think my brain computer will work in my behalf to optimize my development and success? No. The brain says, you don't like yourself. Why should I work in your behalf? So stop name calling, stop gossiping, stop squabbling with one another. Stop snitching on one another. Informing to the racists for reasons of personal gain. Stop being discourteous to each other. Stop being disrespectful to each other. Stop cursing one another. If we have time, we'll go into our favorite curse, motherfucker. We'll see why we use that. Stop being discourteous. Stop being disrespectful. Stop stealing from one another. Stop robbing one another. Stop fighting one another. Stop killing one another. Now, what if Black people, what if we were walking around and say, you do know the code, don't you? Are you in code? See, if we have to dance, can you do the code? Stop throwing down trash where black people live, work, and play. This is really important. Really important. See, trash is all around us. We are being conditioned to think of ourselves as trash. What do you do with trash? You compact it and then send it to the incinerator. Is that correct? There was a big ad in the Washington Times newspaper, Sunday, November the 20th, 1994. A full-page ad. That's the conservative newspaper in Washington, D.C. Most black people don't read it. Full-page ad, young black man, pants cut off, dark brown skin, shoes untied. Guess what the full-page ad was about? Had in big print, life is precious, pass it on. We need thus and so number of corneas, transplants. We need thus and so number of heart and lungs, thus and so number of livers in the thousands. Do you all understand? I used to say 10 years ago they were going to have us on a spare parts farm. Do you all understand? I'm going to call you all genetically inferior in terms of intelligence, but I can use your liver. I can use your cornea. I can use your heart and lungs. I can use your... Do you understand? Fresh. Just shot. Do you all understand? Get in code. Stop fighting one another. Stop killing one another. Stop making believe that white supremacy does not exist. Stop making black children think that as children, they can be adequate mothers and fathers. This is very important. Everybody ought to clap, because this is not a put down of somebody who had children when they were a teenager. You weren't doing your own thing. White supremacy said, I can make you as a child want to have sex. How can I do it? Take the father out of the home and exhaust the mother. So there's no emotional support coming no matter what she wants to do. So children who are longing for lap time and can't get it will find somebody under the porch who's also longing for lap time. I tell the children, any child that is thinking about sexual intercourse is simply saying, I want my mama. See, I want to be held. This is a normal human desire. But white supremacy, whether we start in formal slavery or not, say you're not going to have no mother and father sitting still holding you on lap. I'm breaking all of that up. I'm shipping mother there and father there. We've got variation on the theme. Father in prison, mother in the project. Variation on the theme. So we have to know this is game plan number 20651AK. What's our response? Now hold on to your chair because you're not going to like what I'm going to say. This is war. This is not what you like best, what you want me to say. I'm saying what I think I understand. under the conditions of white supremacy, all people who are trying to make soldiers in order to war against white supremacy and produce justice so we can have peace on the planet. No black lady have children before 30. I know she's crazy. Black men 35. Do you all hear me? If I thought you were ready for advanced soldiering, I'd say no sex until then. Like a child told me, I said that in a high school, and this child said, "I'm sorry, Dr. Welsing. When it hits you, you gotta do it." So I said, "Sweetheart, are you ever on the bus going home from school?" "Yeah." I said, "Do you ever maybe, sometimes it has hit you, I need to urinate?" Or move your bowels. And you talk to those muscles. And you say, "Peace be still." Do you understand? Any behavior can be brought under control. We have a cosmic purpose in being here. It's not to just do anything. And I tell the little children, look, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad if you've had a child. Blame me. Why do I say blame me? Because we allow to go on in front of children. They can't turn on the TV without sex, movie sex. So I tell the little children, we are in a confused society. A society that is smart, that has no wisdom. Just take the black people away and look at what the white people are doing with themselves. If you don't throw anything in the face of children other than sex, and then you say, well, why are they having sex? Because that's what you're teaching them to do. And I say it comes out of a society that actually degrades itself. Out of the white supremacy system and culture comes the only real pornography on the planet. People of color initially worship the act of self-reproduction. But if you don't like the way you look, you will curse God and curse sex. Maximally degraded. Maximally degraded. And so we have to help the children understand it's problems. We're going to take responsibility as the older people, but we want you to understand. Because as a child, you cannot take care of a child for 25 years. It takes 25 years to stand a soldier on his or her feet so they can deal with the stress of war. Do you all understand me? We should say by the year 2000, we're not going to have any black children having children. We are all going to be in the business of producing people who will ensure that justice is brought to the planet. Somebody asked me last night, parents group, well, what about the violence? How many people have seen a teenager yell at a child on a bus? Come over here. You black so-and-so, get over here. You see, that child is not bad, she's overwhelmed. Completely overwhelmed. Do you all understand? If you yell at a child Or the father could be overwhelmed. 16-year-old male finds out he's impregnated somebody. Now you're going to have to help me take care of this baby. He's overwhelmed. Do you all understand? See, we've got to start thinking. We think these people are playing with us. You know, Mensa, the society for the people who are supposed to have the highest level of intelligence, came out in the newspaper last week. They had put in one of their newsletters, homeless people should be exterminated. This is in the New York Times. Homeless people should be exterminated, and also other people with defects. That's us. The melanin defect. They just want an excuse. See, look at them. That's why we can't turn on the TV without seeing a young black man's face who is supposed to have committed a crime. They're just psyching themselves up. That's why it's important to talk about black genetic inferiority, because they keep saying, look at them, look at them, look at them, look at them. Now, they made us this way. But then they say, look at them, because they want to go into Act 3. So we have to take the position we're not about to be. We love ourselves too much. We're going to learn to respect ourselves. And also, we understand our mission. And it's not a dream. See, dream and determination are two different things. They both start with a D, but they're not the same thing. See, you wake up in the morning and you say, by the time you get in the shower, oh, that must have been a dream, and you dismiss it. You see, but if you say no, we weren't put on this planet to be exterminated. We were put on this planet, the first people, to bring justice to this planet. We are putting ourselves in readiness because we're not playing with ourselves anymore. See, they even have the black weathermen clowning. See, I call them the black weather clowns. The white man can stand up and give the weather. But black men are supposed to be clowning all the time. It's a reason that they do that. They're signaling each other they're just clowns. They're just clowns. We're dismissing them. We are exterminating all of them. If we can get our machine really going. Now, we're giving them AIDS, that's not moving fast enough. Now, we put drug-resistant tuberculosis out there, that's not moving fast enough either. Got to speed this thing along here. So we're giving them something counter to play with. We are engaging in quality control, black child development and production. That's what the Japanese economy did to take off and astound everybody. What if black people say, oh no, we only engage in quality control? It's like if you ask a Japanese teenager, do you have a boyfriend? No, we don't date until after we finish college. So somebody say, well, what are we supposed to do, Dr. Welsing, until we're 30? Go to school. See, let me suggest for the black agenda, I'm recommending it in the District of Columbia. A wise people would say, every child that graduates from high school, good grades, no drugs, not become a mother or a father, gets $2,000 from the state. In addition, tuition paid to college. Why not put that on the table? It costs $35,000 a year to incarcerate one black man. $35,000. And all they can do is talk about more and more prisons. We say, no, take the same money. Take those multiple billions. We want everybody to go to school and come out and get a WPA job, not job training, job. Do you all understand? If we don't ever say this is what we want, we're not having this other stuff. You're not just putting these drugs out here and say, now that's your job. That's just bait. Let it go on for a while and then put you in incarceration. That's no good. That's genocide. So I said, no, we've got to have another plan. So we got all those stop throwing down trash, stop making children think that they can be adequate mothers and fathers as children. You see all these little girls with these attitudes. That's because somebody's talking. So then the child is rolling her eyes. Just overwhelm people. So I say, everybody get older. Do things in phases. For everything, there's a season. From 0 to 30 and 35 is school. Moving to self-sufficiency, FCL. Do you all understand? Now, this is difficult, I know. Don't misunderstand me. Don't think, well, she doesn't like sex. Sex is fabulous. That's not the point. The point is that we are in a war. War is being waged against us. Anybody in here been in a real war? Did you jump out of the foxhole and say, I got to get some? And get shot dead in your tracks? No. No, it's a time and a place, and you have to determine what are the conditions that we are in. Can you imagine anybody in Japan where that earthquake hit? Talking about, I gotta get some. I mean, I can't clean any of this debris. I gotta get some now. No. Unless they're ready to be taken to this asylum if it's still standing. So no. Are you all right? I overwhelmed. Tariq said, I'm sorry I brought her. No, but ladies and gentlemen, very serious. I would not be standing here talking if I did not absolutely believe that we can astound the universe in succeeding in what it is that we are attempting to accomplish. The white supremacy system gives us some clues. The people that are highly educated, the white supremacy system puts them in black robes. If they know about justice, put them in black robes. If they're supposed to know about God, put them in black robes. Do you all understand? That's a recognition that black has great wisdom potential. It has the potential. The melanocyte, the cell that makes the black pigment, is described as the second most sophisticated cell in the entire nervous system. Second only to the BET cell, that's B-E-T-Z, the cells that are in the cerebral cortex that you think with. But the white supremacy system said, I can't let them be all that they can be.
Here, the centuries of loneliness were to end.
Your collection of Leonardo da Vinci masterpieces, Mr. Flint.
They appear to have been recently painted.
On contemporary canvas with contemporary materials.
Then, age, death, the taste of dust. Do you understand?
You wanted a perfect, ultimate woman. As brilliant, as immortal as yourself. Your mate for all time.
Merkaba master, I charted demons to other worlds, drive devils to plaster, rush them to hell, breathing asthma, place Satan on gurneys next to Hermes, send them off to their journey to Cleopatra. They read those chapters, egos captured, the Leo laughter, neoplasma, run through my veins in this matrix, and my basement became a plaza, and now I'm in the Sky Lounge with negative spirit hackers, build on math and we read the chapters, observe through our windows at the quiet disasters, riots at NASA, marches, gender pride, freedom rights for the masses, till we do away with first and second citizen classes. Religion is backwards, trying to comprehend to the pastor. This gym is like Jasper. Either we all live and strive for the youth to survive, or it all ends with the rapture. Forget waiting on the man, I'm making a plan. And for the ages of false statements, I'm taking a stand. Start an investigation on Satan with a cross in my hand. Make him plead guilty, now face the jury. We're in the courts of I am. If I could just vanish from off the planet, like magic, become caught from granite. Days, mathematics is understanding.
Hey, hey, did you hear? This is the perfect place to disappear. Oh, hey, did you hear? This is the perfect place to disappear.
A billion stories in the naked city. Ghost told me that his best friend needs a kidney. We froze, reminiscing Tiffany in the cold. Open whiskey from the 20s, in the memory. Sympathy made the angels play a symphony. Said he could've had a scholarship, toured different colleges. Now he's out of it, fading away slowly on dialysis. His name remained anonymous, but here's my acknowledgements. Street legends and hood guards, kingdom fall into a mirage. Ghetto depression sets in, then we place weed and cigars. A child has difficulties concentrating. From where he lives, he sees his promises fading. He sees his pop's gone, his mom's is aging. She trying to stay strong for a church congregation. And meanwhile, a kid named Rico was the coke king. A lot of siblings are the dope fiends, hope you scream. A lot of children with broken dreams, homes were clean. The most extreme, you got rich and what you sold to queens. Look what you did to Josephine. And Ebony is unheavenly, the devil's ready with open wings. As Lucifer uses love and his youthful mug, then his blood on the cobra's fangs.
Hey, hey, did you hear? This is the perfect place to disappear. Did you hear? This is the perfect place to disappear.
Through the mid.